keep it real with ya.
Hey guys, it's me, Mina, back with another video. Oh, I left my door open. You're going to notice that the quality of the next several videos is going to be a little bit differently. That's because I had this transitional period. You know, the battery of my old laptop died, and then I had to wait a minute to get the new laptop, so then I had to use my phone. So my phone recordings are going to be a lot warmer. This is a lot brighter. I did get a laptop. It just took a minute. So I had a lot of videos that I need to record. So it's going to look differently. But I hope you like it nonetheless. So I do have videos ready to go up. But I wanted to take a break from that and just kind of update you guys on like what's been going on with me. Obviously, we are following the saga of my work stuff, which is nonsense. And I'm going to tell you about that in another video. But this video, I just wanted to do an update, talk about some random stuff that's not related to any of our normal topics. So one of the things for me personally, I've been taking these mood supplements that I found at a vitamin shop, which have like ashwagandha and magnesium and something called Women's Equilibrium Blend, which is supposed to help with like hormones and stuff, like estrogen and stuff. So I've been taking that for about a month, and I think it's been helping a lot in terms of my mood, because there's been some situations where I'm like, I want to cry or I want to freak out, but I'm not going to. And to be able to make that choice is very interesting. Now, of course, my therapist would tell me all the time, you're supposed to cry. No. No, I don't want to cry. I'm not a crier. Once I start crying, I can't stop. Like, it always gets me, like, I alternate between the phases of being like, I don't even know what you call like a micro crier, where I would do a little bit at a time, and a full-blown bawling type of crier. Yeah, it's been helping me through a lot of stuff. And then I've also been trying to eat more gluten-free foods. As you know, I've struggled with like my digestive issues for a very long time. I've also struggled with weight gain. Like once I hit college, you know, they talk about the freshman 15. Some people say the freshman 50. I gained 100 pounds. And I was very, very upset because college was like the healthiest I had ever been. Like I was walking more, exercising more. I was eating green smoothies. You know, I was eating more vegetables. I started eating vegetables in college. Like you'd think that I would lose weight from that, and I gained a bunch of weight. And it did not matter how much I picked it up with the exercises or going to the gym. You know, I tried changing my diet. I tried doing keto. That didn't work out. Like, it did not matter. I was still having a lot of issues. I was still having a lot of pain, which is not good for my mental health. And so I would have these moments where I would look at myself and I'd be like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate what I look like. No shame to people who are bigger than me. It's not that I have an issue with fat people. I have an issue with me being fat, which I guess is still like having an issue with fat people. I love fat people. They look like they are great huggers, you know. But I don't like the way I look when I look in the mirror. And I know that that is my own personal problem and not anyone else's issue. So if it means anything, I don't really need to hear somebody be like, I weigh more than you and I'm happy. That's fine. You have learned to accept yourself, and I'm very happy for you. I do not accept myself, and I'm working on it, but I'm not there. So it's not helpful. You know, I admire, you know, the people who are larger than me or my size, who love themselves. I feel for the people who are smaller than me, who are still unhappy with their body. Because let's be honest, it's really not about the image. It's more about how you feel about yourself in general. But where I am is I am not happy with the weight that I am at. And the only time I was able to lose weight since college was when I went to Japan and I had to walk everywhere. So everything was like a 30-minute walk, you know. So imagine wherever you are, like you're 30 minutes a walking distance from the grocery store. What is that, like 10 minutes a drive or something? And you decide to walk instead. No matter how hot outside it is, you decide to walk instead. So every day it was walking everywhere, walking up like really, really steep steps to be able to cross the street because there were no crosswalks in some areas. And I would go walking late at night. I'd be like, let me get my steps in. I would go walking late at night because it was safe. And then add that on to the very, very healthy food. Even though I was eating junk food, like don't I was still eating fried chicken, but it was a lot more healthy options out there that were cheap that I could indulge in. So I lost weight then. Um, but and I've seen my body shape change over time, but I still have like I still have like a big gut, like I have big belly, and it's very frustrating. And so I was talking about this to my therapist, who has it comes from a family of hormone issues. Oh my god, my skin looks awful. Hold on, I gotta take a skin break. Okay, this is literally the best my skin's gonna get. So if it still looks the same, then I tried. I tried. This is why I don't wear makeup, because I'm just like, my face looks how it looks. It's not gonna change. And if I have things going on with it, it's because there are things going on with it, and you just gotta let it be what it is. And when I tried to wear makeup, God, I looked awful, and I don't even like putting effort into my hair. You think I'm gonna go to the store and figure out what tone my skin is supposed to be so that I can like find a foundation, concealer, powder, serum. I don't know what you're supposed to put on your face when you do makeup. So I can find something that makes me look normal. Like, it's really, really hard to find stuff that matches your skin tone. So I remember going and having like somebody at Macy's try to match it, and a lady literally told me I got oddball skin. Like it just do what it do, and I just gotta let it do what it do. Anyway, so I was talking to my therapist about how I've had all this trouble losing weight. Like even back in November, I started doing these dance workouts, doing the high intensity ones, breaking a sweat every morning, 30 minutes, 35 minutes a day. And I tell you, my body would be hurting. I'd be sweating like a dog. And I did that for several months. And my leg shape changed a bit, which is good. But I didn't lose any weight. So I was just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, my stomach is still getting bigger, even though I'm trying to eat less. I've been doing smoothies like all year. Doing smoothies, working out, all this stuff. And then like I just hit depression because I was just like, I can't do this anymore. But it just seemed like no matter what I did, I just kept gaining weight. Or like my body, like my stomach just kept getting bigger. And she asked me if I had my hormones tested. And I said, yeah, there was one time they tried to check my thyroid, but it was fine. But she was like, what about all the other hormones? And I was like, they didn't really. Like, I don't do well with having my blood drawn. I always pass out, and no one ever believes me when I get lab work that I'm going to pass out. And they be like, just tell yourself you won't pass out. And I'm like, bitch, I know my body. It will pass out. And it's not because, oh, I was looking at it. It doesn't matter. I will pass out. So I just don't get blood work done that often. And so she was like, oh, when you hit your deductible, because you know how it is, American healthcare, you know, you should do it. I still have not hit my deductible, and it is mid-July. Very frustrating. But I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And my insurance does not pay anything until I hit that deductible. There's no co-pay, no co-insurance, no, but if it's an office visit, is it? No. Deductible, everything. So she was like, when you get there, you know, you should do some blood work and like look at all your hormones. And I'm like, sure, yeah. I mean, another thing to consider, you know, when you have CPTSD, like your stress levels are going to be super high, and high stress levels, and especially in bodies that contain a lot of estrogen, you're going to see a lot more like fat in your like stomach area. So it is something that I worry about, and it's very frustrating for me, but I just deal with it. But then she asked me if, you know, I had any like food allergies. I was like, no, I'm not allergic to anything. And then she asked me about gluten. And I was like, what? What about it? You know, white people be going gluten free all the time. I don't understand. And she asked me if I had a gluten intolerance. And I was like, I don't know. And she asked me like, what happens when I eat bread? And I was like, oh, you get constipated. She was like, every time you eat bread, you get constipated? I'm like, yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. She was like, no, it's not. And I was like, yes, it is. It's bread. You know, you eat bread, and then because your body takes longer to break it down, that's why you get constipated when you eat bread. That's why you got to eat a little bit of bread. You can't eat a lot of bread, you know. Anytime I eat a lot of bread, I can't poop for like 2 days. Like, it's like crazy, but that's what bread does. And she was like, no. And I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And she was like, how do you feel when you eat bread? And I was like, I mean, it's delicious. You feel happy. You're like, ah, yes, garlic bread, cheese bread, you know what I mean? Texas toast, you know what I mean? I was like, it feels great when you're eating it, but as soon as you're done eating, you got some rocks sitting at the top of your stomach, and it's just gonna take a while for that to break down. And she was like, I think you might have a gluten allergy. And I was like, what are you talking about? You might be gluten intolerant. And I was like, I don't understand. She's like, you're not supposed to be constipated for 2 days after eating bread and have stomach pains. And I was like, explain this to me again. And I shit you not, my therapy session went over by like an hour because she was trying to explain to me with my brain that you can eat bread and not feel like crap afterwards. And I was not comprehending, because this is my life. Like, 26 years I've been eating bread and feeling like crap afterwards, or having to, take a bunch of stuff to be able to have a bowel movement. I don't understand. People don't get constipated after eating bread. And she's like, people with gluten intolerances do. And I was like, how do I know? How do I test this? She was like, you would get blood work. I was like, there's some bullshit. But she was like, and you don't have to wait for that, though. You can literally just try a week without eating gluten to see how your body does. And so I try a week without eating. A week. I go 4 days without eating gluten. The 5th day, I was like, dinner time, sliders. And I didn't notice that much of a difference. I was just like, because I have all types of digestive issues, in addition to like my physical issues. So then I was like, let me try eating some gluten-free foods to kind of help me make it. Because, like, I cannot go so many days without eating any type of bread. Like, I tried, like, one weekend, I was like, literally everything I eat is bread. Like, I will get a sandwich from here, I get a pizza from there, a croissant over here, whole wheat pancakes. Like, everything I eat is gluten. Like, this is ridiculous. And so I was like, let me find some gluten-free alternatives. When I tell you, the first time I ate gluten-free bread, and mind you, this is some frozen bread. The bread was hard as fuck, and it didn't even taste all that good. I put butter on it; didn't taste all that good. But I ate it, and I sat there after I ate it, and even though the bread itself was very hard, when it got to my stomach, there was no reaction. It was literally like my body was just like, oh, food, we know what that is, let's go. And I'm like, hold on, what's going on? And literally eating the gluten-free bread, my body was just like, okay. But anytime I ate regular bread, I even started eating like whole wheat bread, you know what I mean, to get more fiber. But anytime I started eating regular bread, my body would be like, no, you sit here for a minute. We gonna handle these other people first. We'll get to you. We'll get to you in a minute. And 2 days later, that's when they get to you. And so I was shook. I was shook, and I was frustrated because I've been eating bread heavily my whole life. I ate wish sandwiches, where it's just 2 slices of bread and you pretend that there's something else going on there, but it's just 2 slices of bread with maybe some mustard on it. Like, I eat bread. You know what I mean? And eating the gluten-free bread and not having a response, I was like, this is bullshit. So I started getting gluten-free alternatives at places. I went to the place where I get my pizza, where they make the pizzas, and I said gluten-free crust. I shit you not. Same thing. And don't get me wrong, I loaded that pizza up. Eating that pizza, my body was like, regular food, thanks. No constipation. No stomach cramps. No indigestion. I've been eating gluten for 26 years. And then not to mention the fact that when I'm doing my Googling, it's like, if you have a gluten intolerance or a gluten allergy and you are eating gluten, it can fuck up so many things in your body. It can fuck up your mental health. People are more depressed. It fucks up your digestive health. you not only are like constipated or having diarrhea, like you can't have like normal bowel movements, but also your body isn't fully absorbing stuff. And I've noticed that too. When I eat bread, I'm like, oh, I'm fucked, because when I would go to take my meds, I would not feel as much of a reaction to taking my meds because my body could not absorb the drug. It messes with your sleep, something that I've struggled with my whole life. You know what I mean? It messes with your immune system. My allergies have been a bitch. You know, like it messes with your hormone balances. You know, your skin, your body weight. You know, there's also something called malabsorption, where you don't fully digest the foods that you're eating, which is something that I have, and I just thought that it was okay. You know, I was just like, in my brain, I was like, just certain foods don't digest well, and it is what it is. I've been eating in heavy quantities the very thing that has been making me sick my whole life. And it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Happy to have the realization. So frustrating. I'm still having realizations at this point after all the stuff. Like, there's no point when I was going to all these different gastroenterologists over the past several years that anyone thought to ask me about the foods that I eat and my body's reaction to the foods that I eat, and to run a test to see if my body had any type of intolerances to certain foods or drugs. They would just ask me if I was allergic to any drugs. They would just ask me if I was allergic to any foods. And I would say no, because I've never been tested for anything to see if I had the allergy. I just have to wing it. Grown as fuck, I still don't know if I'm allergic to shellfish or not. I just, I taste a little crab, I'd be like, I don't know about this. I'm gonna stop eating the crab. Like, literally, I have no idea if I'm actually allergic to it or not. I just be like running into stuff. And I know that in my family, when you're little, I don't know if this was done with me, but I've seen it done with like my nieces and nephews, where they try to give them different foods to see if they have an allergic reaction. But like, intolerances are harder to spot. And then I'm also mad because I'm like, I kept saying how bad I wanted to be lactose intolerant because I have so many issues with constipation. And if I was lactose intolerant, I would get diarrhea after eating like my cheese or my dairy products or whatever. And instead of that, I have gluten intolerance. Not only meaning that the majority of the foods that I eat, I cannot eat the way that I want to, but then also meaning the only reason I wanted to be lactose intolerant was because I was gluten intolerant. The gluten was making me constipated, so I wished for milk to give me diarrhea, when in reality, I could just be normal or have normal bodily responses to food if I cut out the fucking gluten. So now I'm trying to find out how to do this whole gluten-free thing. I'm not going to cut it all out completely, but the fact that I'm eating more and more gluten-free stuff, even though and it's just like I'm not having the same responses that I'm having to other foods that I eat. So I'm eating, more biscuits. I'm gonna try gluten-free bagels in a minute, but it's just so unattractive when you grab some bread and it's hard. But the gluten-free pizza crust, the gluten-free bread when I'm going to the sandwich shop to get my favorite sandwich, tastes awful, but my stomach's like, yay. That also could be a reason why my mood has improved over the past month as well. And it's just so frustrating. And then, like, also, my favorite pancakes that I've been eating every day for months are whole wheat, whole grain pancakes. So I have to swap those out. And then what made me so mad is I went to get the pancake mix, and it was like, yeah, you're gonna need some eggs and some milk. And I'm like, what the fuck? Hold on, no. I just want to add water. And they're like, no, you need eggs and milk. I cannot cook. The fuck I need eggs and milk for? I do not know chemistry. I am not a chef. I am not my mama nor my grandmama. I don't put eggs in milk and shit. I don't crack eggs for nothing. Whatever you want me to make, I don't crack eggs. I don't be baking shit because I don't crack eggs. You want me to crack an egg. So this morning, and I shared these pictures in my Discord, this morning I did finally buy and try gluten-free pancake mix. I just did whatever the fuck I wanted because I'm bad at following recipes because I can't cook. So I was like, I got some liquid egg white, and I just poured like a little spoonful in there, and then I poured some milk until I felt like I was comfortable, and then I put some water in it. to kind of make it less thick, and then I make pancakes. And they tasted good. They were kind of dry, but they tasted good. And I was just like, and then afterwards, I went to the bathroom like a normal person. There was no blood. That's another thing that I've talked about in my videos is I tend to have bloody stool and tears from the constipation that I experienced. So I've not been dealing with constipation since I started eating more gluten-free foods. And because I'm not dealing with constipation, I'm not dealing with blood. I'm not dealing with tears. I'm so upset that I find this out at 26. I just feel like this is something that should have been discovered when I was like 6. You know what I mean? Like if my parents were paying attention, they should have, instead of being like, oh, you need an enema, oh, you need a suppository so you're not constipated, instead of just letting us get constipated and giving us all this extra shit, oh, you need some Miralax. Instead of all of that, maybe you should have been looking at the foods I was eating that was causing me to be constipated. Both my siblings also struggle with constipation. This could be a family thing. And my mom's response to that was enemas and suppositories and Miralax and colon cleansers, as opposed to just changing your diet. Like, if your kid is chronically constipated, look at what you're feeding them. Now, of course, my mother doesn't care that much about parenting, so I'm not surprised that she was like that, but I feel like it should have been evident. I feel like at some point a doctor somewhere should have been like, hey, this kid is chronically constipated. Maybe we should look at what they're eating. Nope. Okay. But yeah, no, this is very, very frustrating, very upsetting. So anyway, that's my update. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. If you can, please take care of yourself. Eat some food, drink your water. It has to be water. Please. It cannot be Mountain Dew. If you know, you know. It can't just be Mountain Dew, okay? Try to drink water. Even if you drink a glass of water and then drink some Mountain Dew afterwards, just try to incorporate that. But, like, get your rest. Do these basic things that aren't super hard to do, but will lead to you being happier and healthier overall. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just remember to do those 3 things, and you're gonna get a little bit of a boost. Things won't fall apart as hard as they usually do if you can maintain food, sleep, water. But yeah, I love you guys. And I will be back next week to talk to you more about all of this work shit that's going on. You're gonna get the updates on that, and this shit is crazy. It's just going and going and going and escalating and just getting worse. So I hope that you guys are tuning in and you enjoy those videos, because there's gonna be some more coming. But until then, like I said, love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.